Okay, obviously we're in Rafael Brando's private facility here in Sao Paulo, and there's a lot of different equipment in here. It is great to be able to walk into a gym environment with an endless amount of gym equipment, but do not think for 1 minute, okay, that you have to train in a facility like this to build an incredible world-class physique. You only have to look at the likes of Ronnie Coleman, Dorian Yates, okay, two of the greatest Mr. Olympias of all time, two of the greatest Mr. Olympias, athletes, bodybuilders of all time. Probably Ronnie Coleman being the greatest. With all this cool shit, you don't need it, all right? But it's great to have the ability to sometimes walk into an environment and have those options. Now, you need to make sure that you use your own initiative to select exercises which are going to create the results. Now, how you implement rest pause on some machines or some exercises can be slightly different, all right? What we're going to do now, we're going to do a seated stack-loaded machine row. You can obviously change your hand placement very slightly. For me, I try to stay neutral. So what does that mean? I'm going to grip a position that makes me feel like I'm able to target as much back activation as much as possible without bringing bicep flexion in, all right? And then when I rest pause, I'm actually going to lie back with my arms straight. So how I implement the rest pause on this would be exactly the same as if I was implementing rest pause on a low pulley cable row, all right? Mm-hmm. Except I'm obviously upright. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to grip here, all right? So if I was going to rest pause, this is my rest pause position.
Okay.
Okay, here. Mm-hmm. Okay? And then I'm going to come in, keep my core tight, and then
boom.
Cool.
Yeah. Cool.
Now, position of the seat is really important. The lower you go with the seat, the more mid and upper scap, okay? The higher you bring your seat, you're going to bring a little bit more lower scap and lower erector into play. I want to find a position where I'm neutral. Means that I'm finding that I'm engaged everywhere. This is probably a slightly, that position probably would work really well for me now, all right? We're similar sort of heights. As far as your position of your hands, you could go wider, but I tend to be neutral. I find a position where I feel, okay, that's very comfortable.
Okay, cool.
Not necessarily because I'm trying to be at my strongest, because sometimes people will mislead strength as far as muscle fiber activation, okay? So this is my position here. Pull. 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 When I rest pause, this is my position.
Yeah.
Okay? And then I go back in again. Pull. Now, back. Your form and technique could be perfect. We could be training together. We may be doing similar rep ranges. Let's just say our rep range on average was 14 reps. If I was to go slightly too heavy, what I will find is that I don't get the same muscle contraction. My form is perfect and I'm still loaded, but I find that I don't get the same kind of stimulus and activation. So make sure that when you are choosing a weight, make sure that you're engaging your central nervous system so you're able to fully engage neurologically, all right? Mm-hmm. And also upregulate muscle fiber activation. We're going to do 1 or 2 warm-ups and then we are going to go into a working set.
Cool. Here.
Yeah, cool. Good. Stretch through. Good. Good. Squeeze. A little bit faster with the movement, just a little. Speed up a little bit. Good. Squeeze. Good. Slow that down a little bit. Good. Perfect. Yeah. Good. Strong. Good. Squeeze. Squeeze. Good. Excellent. Strong. Do 1 rep and then rest pause. Forward, lie back. That's the rest position. 2 reps and then rest pause. Good. 1 rep and then rack it, okay? Good. Okay, rack it up. Okay. I want you to really make sure you're concentrating when you're contracting, because otherwise you may not find the stimulus that we want you to. Okay. Good. Take a rest. Woo. Good. Perfect. Good. Squeeze. 6. Good. Come on. Good. Rest pause. Good. 3 reps. Rest pause. Okay. Good. Good. Pull. Good. Rest pause. Good. 2 or 3 reps again. The rest pause to me. Stay close. Good. And again.
Oh.
Last phase. Okay.
Yep.
Keep that lower abdominal close to pad. Good. Pull. Good. Good set.
Oh.
Good set. Good set. How was the movement for you?
Great.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I like this machine, but obviously different people will find that different machines work for them just because of the mechanical setup and biomechanically. Really important that when you do some form of rowing like that, the same as obviously when you're rowing with the bent over dumbbells, make sure you're not just pulling, you're also neurologically connecting and squeezing and contracting, all right? You won't be able to do as many repetitions, and unfortunately a lot of people sometimes chase weight as opposed to correct themselves and make sure they're chasing stimulus. I really like this piece of equipment. I really like low pulley, close grip, cable row, but it's quite busy down there, so we thought we'd stay on this machine here, okay? Good. Be strong now. Good. Squeeze. 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 Come on. Squeeze. Excellent. Good. Work hard. Good. 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 Last phase. Last phase, okay? Strong. Good. Good set. Good set. That was a very good set. Well done. Good. Take your rest. I want to touch base on working sets, okay? As far as the total amount of working sets, it really comes down to the output. That's what it really comes down to. Exercise selection definitely has to be considered. So if you are choosing exercises where you are incorporating large unit recruitment in quite early because they're very compound, all right, and you're really pushing mentally and physically to those latter stages of failure, incorporating rest pause, then the need to do extra working sets is very small. You could walk into a gym environment, have an incredible back workout, do 4 different exercises, 3 sets for each exercise, and that's it.
That's it.
Yeah, that's it. You know, it doesn't matter that somebody else is doing 20 sets. The fact is they're probably not putting half the effort in as you are, right? And in a perfect world, you want to be able to upregulate muscle fiber activation as much as possible, all right? Break down muscle tissue in a very controlled, positive manner, and then get the hell out of that gym as quick as possible, because remember, you're recovering, you're growing, and you're resting out that gym environment. This is your last set on here. Good.
When you work, your hands need to stay like this.
Yeah.
When you work.
Man hands, right?
Yeah. When you work, real work.
Good. Perfect. Squeeze. Come on. Pull back as far as you can. Squeeze. Good. Better. Squeeze. Come on. Stay loaded. Pull. 5. Come on. Good.
Okay.
Good. Let's go. 3 to 4 reps. Stay strong. Stay engaged. Pull. 2. And again. And again. Good. Rest pause. Don't let the weight run you. Come on. Control. strong. Squeeze, good. Squeeze, good. Pull. Excellent. Good.
Shit.
Last phase. Strong.
Okay.
Good set.
Whew.
Good. Good. Now the seat position, as I spoke about at the very beginning, is really important to be considered. If you had, say, a weak upper back area, then I would advise you to put the seat lower. If, for instance, you want to bring a little bit more lower scap and erectors, then I would tell you to put the seat higher. Because he's very three-dimensional with his back development, we're finding very neutral positions, all right? We're going to do one last exercise. You'll notice that the last two exercises are based around rowing, okay? Thickening exercises. Do not think for 1 minute a pull down does not create thickness, because it does. But we're going to go on to the last exercise. It's a little bit more isolated. It's a bitch of an exercise, but you really need to make sure you're mentally engaged with the movement. If you don't mentally engage with the movement, you're not going to get the stimulus that you want out of this. Okay, you're going to say, hey, I don't find the connection. That's possibly because you're not concentrating mentally and physically on the movement itself, or you may need to get brain trained, all right? Very important. So we'll go on to that. In fact,
Treino real, muito bom, cara. E assim, é junto com uma aula, né? Eu sei que às vezes o treino é um pouco longo, pode parecer tipo meio boring, mas cara, é um aprendizado. E todo esse experimento, rest pause, contração, toda essa tensão, nossa, é incrível. E pra mim, cara, é um sonho, porque assim, são duas realizações, né? Tô aqui no CT do Rafa a primeira vez, tô treinando com o Nil a primeira vez. Então, como eu sempre digo, cada conquista na sua vida é um sonho, né? Então, eu tô sonhando acordado ainda, mas eu falo, não sonha deitado, esperando cair do céu. Corre atrás.
this looks a bit fucked up, okay? So this looks a bit homosexual, and I'm not homosexual, I can assure you. I'm not into that shit. Each their own. Anyway, so I'm going to spot him, because you really need to make sure you've got really good foot placement, because your ability to stay stable in this exercise starts with the foundations, that you have to have a really good center of gravity where your feet are placed, okay? So I want you to move onto the bench so your lower chest is off the ground, okay? Here, all right? I'm going to stand behind you with my feet really tight under your feet, okay? That gives you stability, because if you remove your feet here, you have no stability. And it's like you're going to do a hyper row, okay? So as you're rowing, you're lifting up, okay? So it's like a hyper extension. This is the movement, okay? So this is what you're wanting to do, but as you're coming up, you're rowing. Okay.
Coming up,
So-
rowing and squeeze.
Here, yeah, so this is the movement, okay? All right? Without any weight.
With dumbbell?
With a dumbbell.
Okay.
But without weight, I want you to show me the movement first of all, okay? Right. Go up on your toes. No, on your toes. Okay. Right, okay, come forward. No. Feet. No, keep foot. No. There. And the same with the other foot. I'm going to put my feet, all right? So that's giving you stability. So you basically use my feet to pull you good. If you need to bring your feet further forward, that's fine. You find your position and I'll get there, okay? Okay, I need you to come higher up. Lift yourself up higher. So
I feel much my abductor.
Right, say it again.
I feel.
You're feeling it in your abductors?
Yeah.
Maybe because of the bench then, all right?
Yeah,
So we'll move
yeah.
on to the bench isn't ideal. That's the problem.
Do you want to explain to the people the difference between do the pullover for the back and the chest?
All right then.
It's cool.
Okay, we're going to go on to the last exercise, which again primarily is going to be hitting outer back area, okay? It's not necessarily a thickening exercise, but it's definitely a widthening exercise. Very important that when you perform this exercise, you understand the difference between chest and back. Some people will say that when they perform this exercise, they don't get anything out of their back area. And it starts from mentally engaging. That's really the difference. Mentally engaging with the movement and making sure that you're loaded on the outer lat attachment all the time. So as far as the movement is concerned, I want to see what his movement is like first of all to see if I can make any corrections. Because rather than say, okay, I want you to implement this, I want to see what his form and technique is like. Just said just now that he likes this for back, which I'm happy about because I actually don't ever do pullovers with any of my athletes for chest at all. It's always going to be a back exercise. However, if I'm going to do this exercise, it tends to be the last exercise within the back workout where you're already pre-exhausted and pre-fatigued, which means that because your outer lats are tired, where's that stress and load more likely to go? It's more likely to stay on your outer lat attachment.
I would like to say I never feel my chest doing this.
No, nor do I.
Never. Just if I contract in the top, you know, if I go so hard, so I can feel just a little bit. But normally, when I do this, it's totally back for me.
Same as me. Good. Perfect. Excellent. Good.
I just like to bring it to my eyes.
That's perfect. Yeah.
Here.
You don't need to come any further forward.
Okay.
Unless you're going to rest pause. Okay. Good. Excellent. Good. Through. Stay strong. Do another 2 or 3 reps and then just rest pause, okay? Okay, 1. Rest pause, okay, good. Okay, bring it back to me. Okay, I got it. Good. Okay, perfect. Okay, the reason why I say to you when we rest pause to kind of be, if I was lying backwards, if I was lying on my back, if you're rest pausing here, your lats are still engaged.
You're still engaged, yeah.
Whereas if you're here, all right, you'll disengage to a certain extent, all right?
Cool.
Obviously, if you're bending down slightly, you're going to find that there's tricep activation. The only problem with this exercise, even when you incorporate it at the very end of the movement, is you're going to get a little bit of tricep flexion as you're going through those latter
I feel just
right?
a little bit.
Yeah. But you also, it's an exercise you can actually use quite a bit of weight on, all right? So we're going to progressively go up with another weight as a warm-up, probably only 6 or 8 reps maximum, and then we'll probably go in with the first working set, okay? Rep range on this is probably going to be anywhere between 8 and 15 maximum, because if we start doing multiple rest pauses, you're going to incorporate tricep. It's going to happen, all right? And you want to try and disconnect that as much as possible.
Cool.
Good?
Yeah.
Excellent, good. Perfect. Good, stay engaged, keep those lats really loaded. Excellent. Good. Good, just do 1 or 2 reps maximum. Good, and 1.
Okay.
Okay, take the weight.
Okay.
Good. Excellent. Okay, so what you'll notice, I'm going to put this gentleman back into his position. You go back into the position for me. Okay. As you go heavier, you'll need to make sure that your body is pushed down quite far, because it's going to act as a counterbalance. Okay. If you're further up this way, what you're going to find as you go heavy, that dumbbell is going to want to pull you away. Now, when I was an athlete, I was strong on this exercise. I used to be able to do the 120s.
Wow.
All right? Yeah. And I had to come down, and my trainer partner had to hold me here. Okay? Just hold me, because otherwise the weight would pull me away. So I was very strong as an athlete.
I saw some guys stay here.
You can stay low. That's not a problem. You can stay low.
I'm saying another guy here.
Oh, right. Okay. Holding them?
Pull it down.
Yeah. If you
I
want to
saw
do.
it sometimes.
Yeah. Depends obviously how strong you are.
Yeah.
Body weight obviously plays a part as well, because you can only create a certain amount of stability with your body weight in relationship to the weight as well, right?
Nice.
Because it's a counterbalance. So you'll find that I naturally saw that you were shifting yourself through, which is exactly what I wanted you to. Perfect.
Muito bom, galera. Esse é o quarto exercício, acredito que é o final. E pra mim, assim, intensidade muito boa, muito. Sempre um aprendizado, mano. Sempre. E pra mim, amarradão, como se eu fosse o Rafa agora pra competir, faltando 2 semanas aí. É sobre isso. Vambora.
Good. Perfect. Good. Good. Stay strong now. Stay loaded. Good. Work hard. Pull. Good. Single reps, okay? Pull. Good. I'm with you. Stay there. And again. Drive. Pull. Stay there.
Shit.
Come on. Pull. Drive. Come on, work hard. Good. Stay there. Last rep.
Yep.
Stay engaged now. Pull.
Oh!
Pull.
Yeah!
Pull.
Yeah!
Good set.
Shit.
Good set.
Woo.
Good set. Very good.
Woo.
Very good. Excellent. Good working set. Good. Good.
Yeah.
Right, let's go. Work hard now, come on. Good. Excellent. Good. Strong now, come on. Good, come on, pull. Drive. Good. Strong. Come on. Good. Excellent. Good. Rest, pause. Stay there. And again. Pull.
Chip.
Come on. Drive. Good. 2 singles, okay? Work hard. Excellent. Good. Last rep. Strong. Good set. I got the weight. Good set.
Whoa.
Good.
Thank you so much. I enjoy a lot this workout and I'm very happy and feel happy because I remember when I text you maybe in 17 talking about your system and you reply me,
Right.
you know,
Yeah.
and I feel very happy with that because it's just a dream for me as a Brazilian guy,
Yeah.
a poor guy in the past, you know, able to text and talk and training with guys like you. And for me, it's an honor to stay here.
I think that, you know, we obviously both have a lot of history together indirectly in the industry, and we both have a very broad understanding of training, nutrition, supplementation, etc. But we're also very willing to and open to learn from one another.
Yeah.
So for me to have the opportunity to be with, you know, athletes like yourself, it's a great collaboration. So I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you so much,
Thank
my
you,
brother.
buddy.
I hope do another one.
We'll do another one, yes. We'll
Yeah.
do another. And this time what we'll do is we'll do a different workout. So we'll probably do a high rep workout with obviously different muscle groups. So it'll either be legs or it'll be shoulders or it'll be arms. So if we're going to do that, we're going to have to do it next week because obviously as we go into the latter stages of peak week with Hafel, I want to make sure distraction is very low. So maybe some point next week, all right?
Of course.
Okay?
E pra vocês, galera, curtiram esse treino? Cara, pra mim foi ótimo. Na verdade, tudo muito bom ao mesmo tempo. volta do canal.
É isso, Júlio.
Volta aí na Max, tamo junto.
Bora que bora.
Primeiro treino com o Nil, primeiro de muitos. Primeira vez no CT do Rafa. E aí, você curtiu? Deixa aqui embaixo, cara, um clique aí. Deixa um hashtag All Day também. Tamo junto. Valeu. Mais um dia, mais um ano. Mais um Max Titânio. Tamo junto.